More info continues to pour in on some of the big expiring WWE contracts, so we'll see what's going on there. We'll also check out an update for the Usos, Rhea Ripley, and more. Starting things off with a brief new update for Rhea Ripley's injury. A lot of people have been curious to find out when exactly did Rhea Ripley go down with his injury that made her vacate the title. Well, according to PW Insider, the exact moment where Rhea suffered this reign-ending injury was during Rhea's interaction with Liv Morgan on the Raw after WrestleMania. Liv Morgan attacked Rhea live on Raw in a backstage segment during that show. Liv threw a chair at Rhea, drove her into a wall, and just unleashed a brutal attack on Rhea. And it looked like, had Rhea stayed healthy, this backstage attack definitely would have set up a potential match between Rhea and Liv at Backlash. But because of that injury, that's no longer the case. These reports claim that Rhea Ripley suffered this freakish shoulder injury that took place right there during that backstage attack segment with Liv Morgan. More specifically, after Rhea Ripley's body connected with that wall behind her. It looks like the way Rhea fell and connected with that wall was the exact moment where her shoulder was injured. A lot of people were questioning if that was the chair that Liv threw her, or it was a pre-existing injury. But according to reports, the injury took place right on camera as Rhea hit that wall behind her during the backstage attack. So far, it looks like they're taking the storyline in the direction of Liv Morgan's character bragging and making fun of that matter, since Rhea first put Liv on the shelf in 2023. So we'll have to see if they continue to take Liv down this heel arc, because if they do, then Rhea Ripley has a perfect return story already set in place for her, which will be for her to come back after Liv Morgan and get back the Women's World title. WWE has signed some big WWE superstars to big extensions over the last few months, but at the same time, other big superstars are coming up to final days of their current deals without signing any extensions at all. Two superstars are on the top of the list of upcoming expirations, including Drew McIntyre and Becky Lynch. When it comes to Drew McIntyre's contract status, this is a topic that fans are absolutely exhausted about. Drew's contract status and his nearing expiration has been something that's been heavily covered and spoken about since spring of 2023. And it feels like every month since then, it's reported that Drew hasn't signed an extension and is coming down to his expiration date. Well, after over a year of speculation and all this conversation, it looks like decision day is finally coming for Drew McIntyre. PW Insider reports that as of the week of April 15th, Drew McIntyre only has 5 to 6 weeks left on his current WWE contract, meaning that right around the end of May, Drew McIntyre's contract will officially expire and a decision will have to be made. Drew will either be brought back in a new multi-year deal, or Drew will walk and test the waters of free agency. The whole question of, will Drew stay in WWE or will he leave, has been a popular topic of discussion for a long time now, but it looks like that question will finally be answered in late May when a decision will have to be made. They also reported the same thing for Becky Lynch. Becky even said herself before WrestleMania 40 that she only had 2 months left on her deal. So Becky will also be up in late May, early June at the latest. Becky Lynch recently denied reports that claimed she'd be going on a massive hiatus following WrestleMania 40. So even if a new deal isn't reached, it looks like we can expect Becky Lynch to still be at live events and WWE television before that current expiration date comes up. A lot of fans and reports have been distracted and obsessed with these expiring contracts. So it's nice to know that the end of the discussion is in sight, and there'll be answers for both Drew and Becky's contracts in a matter of weeks. The April 15th edition of Raw was also an important one because it gave us the very first teaser to the Usos having their big reunion with each other later this year. The Usos stood up to Roman Reigns and left the Bloodline in the spring of 2023. But the Usos would have their independent run cut short after Jimmy Uso costed Jey Uso the WWE title and turned heel on him at SummerSlam 2023. After that happened, and Jey ran to Raw to get away from all of his family members because he was sick of dealing with them. Jimmy eventually folded and went back to standing by Roman Reigns in the Bloodline. And like we heard them say to each other before WrestleMania 40, they both admittedly missed each other, but they're both blaming the other for their issues. Jey Uso says it was Jimmy who screwed him over and turned on him. But in Jimmy's eyes, Jey's the one that left and ran to Raw by himself. So both brothers have a fair point, but if we had to pick a side about who's more to blame for their fallout, seems like it definitely has to be Jimmy Uso. He costed Jey the WWE title, costed him the tag team titles, costed him the Intercontinental title, and attacked Jey on several different occasions since SummerSlam. It was always Jimmy initiating everything, and Jey just retaliating to those moves by Jimmy. And a lot of people criticize the Usos match at WrestleMania 40 for not being a 5-star classic. But what the match did absolutely flawlessly was the storytelling element. When Jimmy fakes his apology and begged for Jey's forgiveness in the middle of the ring, Jey literally accepted it and was willing to put everything behind them and make up right on the spot. But Jimmy was lying and tried to cheap shot Jey following that fake apology, once again confirming that Jimmy is the evil one here, while Jey was actually willing to make up with his brother in the middle of a WrestleMania match if the apology was sincere. So that moment was great, just to show the mentality of where both characters were at. Now, of course, in the first Smackdown after WrestleMania 40, Jimmy Uso gets brutally exiled from the Bloodline by his little brother, Solo Sikoa, and fellow relative Tama Tonga. Everyone figured that this moment was basically a babyface turn for Jimmy Uso and will lead towards that reunion. And on the April 15th edition of Raw, Jey was asked about what's currently happening with the Bloodline. Jey said that the Bloodline is going down a dangerous road, and how he told Jimmy to come with him a long time ago, but he didn't listen. So judging by everything we've seen from Jey over the last few months, his kind heart, how he'll be missing his brother this entire time and waiting to make up with him. It seems like Jey Uso will jump at the very first opportunity to reunite with Jimmy Uso and back him up against this now rogue version of the Bloodline. So Jey will absolutely forgive his brother and welcome him back with open arms any day now after Jimmy was kicked out like that. The Usos reunion is going to be a major moment that we'll see sometime in 2024. And like we've been discussing all week, fans also expect a babyface Roman Reigns to reunite with the Usos to reunite the original core Bloodline. Only difference this time around will be that Roman won't be mad with power. He'll get all along fairly nicely with the Usos, and they'll be taking on the actual Mad with Power 2.0 version of the Bloodline that has now gone extremely off the rails. So despite there now being no world title on the line here, it's still going to be one of the biggest storylines in WWE for the back half of 2024. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.